All right, let's just get right into it. We're going to tackle one of the oldest, most stubborn myths in all of tech. Is JavaScript just part of Java? Now, the answer might seem obvious to a lot of you, but this is a ghost from 1995 that is still haunting millions of developers, both new and old.
So you hear something like this: JavaScript is part of Java, basically a scripting language for Java. The author of our source material actually heard this from a senior colleague. I mean, that is the myth, right there in a nutshell. It sounds plausible, doesn't it?
I mean, seriously, does that sound familiar? Have you ever thought that yourself? Or maybe heard someone you work with say it? Come on, be honest.
Look, if you have, you are so not alone. When someone posted the simple question, JavaScript, a part of Java, online, it just blew up. Thousands of views, tons of comments. It proved that this confusion is way, way more common than we like to admit.
Okay, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off right now. No ambiguity, JavaScript is not Java. They are two completely separate different things. Their connection is basically a phantom, a ghost from an old marketing meeting that we're about to bust wide open.
So, to really unravel this whole thing, we've got to go back in time. Yep, we're firing up the time machine and setting the dial for the Wild West of the web, 1995. This is where it all started.
You see, before JavaScript was even a thing, this little language being built over at Netscape had a couple of other names. First, it was called Mocha, then it was called LiveScript, and the key thing here, it had absolutely zero, zilch, no connection to Java whatsoever.
Okay, so check out this timeline. It lays it all out. In 1995, Netscape creates LiveScript. But just a few months later, in that same year, bam! In a marketing deal with Sun Microsystems, it gets renamed JavaScript. Then a couple years later, it gets standardized as ECMAScript, which was a big deal to keep it independent. And then you fast forward to 2009, Oracle buys Sun and inherits the JavaScript trademark, just the name. And that right there adds a whole new layer of confusion that we're still dealing with.
So why the name change? Well, it was a pure genius marketing play. You have to remember, in the mid-90s, Java was everything. It was the biggest, hottest rock star in the tech world. So Netscape and Sun figured, hey, let's just slap the name Java on our thing and ride that massive hype train. It was all about branding, not technology.
And right after that marketing deal was signed, the two languages basically said, see ya, and walked off in completely different directions. It's like they had the same last name for a minute, but they were never actually related. Their paths just totally diverged.
And I mean, just look at them today. They could not be more different. On one side, you've got Java. Think of it as the big, powerful engine for servers, for heavy-duty infrastructure running on the good old JVM. And then you've got JavaScript. It's the nimble, quick-footed language of the browser, of Node.js, all about handling events as they happen. We're talking totally different worlds, totally different philosophies.
And here's the official truth, the part a lot of people miss. The real name, the standardized technical name for the language we call JavaScript, is actually ECMAScript. It's run by a totally independent group, ECMA International. That's the blueprint that everyone, Google, Mozilla, Apple, builds their engines from. Oracle and Java, they have absolutely no voice in that room.
All right, so if they're so separate, why won't this myth just die already? Well, it's because there are a few pieces of lingering evidence that people like to point to. So let's put on our myth-busting hats and take a look at them, one by one.
Okay, this is probably the #1 argument you'll hear. But wait a minute, what about Java applets? I remember them, JavaScript could talk to them. And you know what? That's true, that was a thing. They were designed to interact. But, and this is a huge but, we have to be really clear about what that actually means.
Just because two things can talk to each other doesn't mean one is a part of the other. Think about it. Your Java code probably talks to a SQL database all the time. Does that make SQL part of Java? Of course not. It's just two separate systems working together. That's integration, not inheritance. They're not family.
So let's just lay it all out, nice and simple. The myth gets its fuel from 4 things. The name, those old Java applets, some similar-looking syntax, and the whole Oracle thing. But what's the reality? The name was just marketing. The applet connection is ancient history. The syntax similarity is just on the surface. In Oracle, they only own the trademark.
And let's hammer this Oracle point home so there is zero confusion. When Oracle bought Sun, they got a bunch of assets. One of those assets was the trademark for the name JavaScript. That's it, a trademark. They do not own or control the language itself.
That, again, is the job of that independent ECMA group.
So why does any of this even matter? I mean, who cares? Well, you should care, because having the wrong idea about this can lead you down a really bad path as a developer. If you come into JavaScript expecting it to handle things like concurrency the way Java does, you are going to have a really bad time. Knowing what a tool is and where it came from is absolutely crucial to using it right.
All right, let's wrap this up. We've gone through the history, the marketing, the tech, so what's the final verdict?
What is the one thing you need to walk away knowing?
It all comes down to this. The name JavaScript was a brilliant marketing move for 1995. It was so good, in fact, that it worked a little too well, and it's been causing decades of confusion ever since.
Look, if there is only one sentence you remember from all of this, please make it this one. JavaScript was designed near Java. It was branded with Java, but it was never, ever built from Java. They're not even distant cousins. They share no DNA.
And that kind of makes you think, doesn't it? This whole massive, decades-long confusion exists just because the real story behind a name got lost to time. So, I'll just leave you with this question. What other tech truths are we all just accepting without ever questioning the story of how they came to be?